I am grateful for today. Today is going to be a fantastic one. The reason is I've already gotten in 2 fantasy football drafts today. And since I have an issue, we are getting into a third. Of course, thank you, my fellow degenerates, for coming out and deciding to have a fun life, deciding to hop into a draft with me, even though it's May, it's best ball. Your automatic best starting lineup gets submitted for you at the end of the week. No waiver wire. We're drafting 18 rounds so we can go through and draft over 200 real money fantasy football drafts this season. Let's pull this up. Y'all already know what we are going to be doing here. We are going over to Best Ball Mania 3. This is going to be the tournament on Underdog Fantasy where you have your regular 12-team league. First place gets paid. Second place gets paid. But a small portion of every 12-team league has their pot set aside. So you have some crazy prizes at the very end if you make it to the fantasy football playoffs. And we are hopping in here, and there are 4 spots open for anybody wanting to come out and draft with us. Both drafts today, actually, I pulled the 101 and the 102. That was this morning before we got on the live stream. Hopefully we get something different. I think drafting at the beginning of the first 102 yet again. Okay, what I can tell you now is I know what to do here. I know exactly what is going to go down. We have JN going next to us at the 101. We have Chimichanga at the 103. We have Debo at the 109. Mikey, I believe, is a part of the flock as well. Okay, so we had a couple people a part of the flock making it into this draft, and I will try my best to do this as fast as possible. We're not going to waste any time on the clock. I'll try to get a second one going after this. I do have to go meet my grandpa for dinner. I'm going to try my best, my dudes. I want to get in another one after this. But Hayden, Colin, Adam, Cameron, Al, Chimichanga, Chris, Ben, Adam, JN, Zachary, and Al all coming out. Thank you, my dudes. And yeah, Zachary, what ended up happening is just the entire screen goes black when I throw it on it. But thank you. Thank you for that. And let's go. We're taking Cooper Kupp at the 102. We're not really thinking about it. Cooper Kupp is the easy selection at the 102. Now, yes, his last season looks like an outlier if you look at the rest of his NFL career, but it doesn't freaking matter. Cooper Kupp was as dominant as you could imagine last year from a target share perspective, and nothing's different. I honestly think that Allen Robinson's not going to command the same volume that you had from Robert Woods last season, so it's too easy. Too easy. We're going to go Cooper Kupp at the 102. Yeah, McCaffrey, Derrick Henry going right after. If y'all missed it, a couple days ago on a live stream, I was able to get Derrick Henry at the 109 and Dalvin Cook in the second. That beautiful. It was probably the best draft we've had this offseason on live stream. Of course, we just got lucky that we ended up having those players fall, but it's exciting nonetheless. Let's get this poll out here real quick. If you have not done so already, please go down there. Please drop a like on this live stream. I know everybody here is subscribed. I don't even have to say that, but please drop a like on this live stream. I truly do appreciate it. Now we have Jefferson, Chase going at the 105, 106. Very rarely are you getting Justin Jefferson falling to the 105 at this point in these drafts. In the majority of these, he's actually instead have been going behind Derrick Henry. He's consistently been the 4th player off the board after Kupp, after McCaffrey, and after Jonathan Taylor. And I honestly want to say, this is going to be something scary to admit, but I am not balanced at all with my portfolio right now. If you head over to my exposures page, you are going to see that we've had a very consistent strategy here where once we are in the middle of round 1, we throw in the towel. Now, yes, if Jefferson, Chase, and Stephon Diggs are all gone, I'm fine taking a Derrick Henry falling to me at the 109. But based on the running back value that you're getting later on in the draft, I actually like the idea of going and getting those elite level wide receivers. I think there's a tier of 4 elite level wide receivers this season with Kupp, with Jefferson, with Chase, and with Stephon Diggs. Sadly, our guy, our Lord and Savior, Devontae Adams, is not in that tier this year just because he's going to get worse quarterback play. He's also going to have more target competition. So I'm sorry, Adams isn't making it in, but we do have a couple other exciting options. Mark Andrews goes to the 112. I saw Mark Andrews earlier this morning as well go in a draft over Travis Kelce. Hard for me to do that just because what you're looking at with the wide receiver core in Kansas City, and you know the passing volume is going to be there with Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so CD Lamb at the 201. I swear to God, I saw a team have this same exact approach this morning. Mark Andrews in the first, CD Lamb in the second. Very interesting. Devontae Adams, then Joe Mixon goes at the 202. Kelsey at the 203. If you get Travis Kelsey at the 203, you have to be excited, especially because with this being best ball, your roster construction matters so much. We talk about it all the time. And unless you get one of the top, I want to say 5 tight ends this year, I don't even know if you should stop at drafting 2 if you took a Kittle, if you take a Waller. But definitely if you take Mark Andrews, if you take Travis Kelsey, it's going to allow you to only have to draft 2 tight ends. Whereas the rest of us, the rest of these suckers, including myself, because we're probably not going to get those guys, we are going to end up having to draft 3 of those options. Now, you will see George Kittle a lot of times is going to be at the very top of the board once we get to the 4-5 turn, but I'm unsure if we're going to go with a Kittle if he does make it. Now, you have Mike Evans going at the 206. Let's pull this up. Best available, Deebo Samuel, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Leonard Fournette. Deebo goes at the 207. Aaron Jones right beforehand. Interesting. Come on. We're probably going to do what we always do, and people are probably going to get mad, but I want to say something. I don't want to say we perfected draft strategy here, but I think we've done a pretty good job as of late. And here, we're going to go through and we're going to reach on a player, but we're going to grab A.J. Brown. The reason is I can guarantee you at the turn here, I know JN. He wants receivers. I could easily see him taking A.J. Brown and Keenan Allen back to back. And then that's going to put us in a very awkward spot if we weren't able to get either one of those wide receivers. Yeah, he goes Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I like the idea. I know he's going to go Herbert, I'm assuming, with his next selection. Great call. Now, this is why we decided to go with an A.J. Brown, because you see we still get our running backs available to us. We still have Nick Chubb coming in. So starting off, Nick Chubb. Yes, I hated him last year. I was calling Nick Chubb the worst pick in the first round last year. He's going in the first. He had Baker Mayfield as his quarterback. Now we are getting Nick Chubb with Deshaun Watson in the third. There's a big difference. I love me some Nick Chubb this year if we are going to be getting him in the third round. And real quick, if you are not having as much fun as we are, if you want to all of a sudden insert some fun into your life, make sure you go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, and they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. You will get our 2022 rankings. You will get our 2022 rookie draft guide. You will get our 2022 dynasty rankings. You will support this channel. And most importantly, you can have some fun. You can get into drafts with us on the live stream. You can get into drafts with your friends. You can go get into drafts in the public lobby, as I do every morning. And like I said, it's best ball. You can draft as many of these teams as possible. Just make sure you use promo code FLOCK for all those added benefits. And you can find the link in the description. You can find the link in the live chat or in the comment section. Okay. JN says he wasn't going to go A.J. Brown and Keenan Allen. Yeah, so you can see he had the plan to go Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. And I know a lot of people are going to say, okay, well, this is horrible. I would never take Mike Williams over Jalen Waddle. I'd never take Mike Williams over Michael Pittman. I'd never take Mike Williams over Javonte Williams. You have to keep in mind, since this has that tournament style at the end, you're going to be in an awkward spot if you have the same team as everybody else when you get there. So if you're looking at Keenan Allen pretty much always going at the 2-3 turn and Mike Williams always going at the 3-4 turn, very few teams are going to have the combination of those two players, especially if you double stack them with Justin Herbert a little bit later on. You will give yourself the ability to have a unique build that has access to upside, even if you are taking a worse player a little bit earlier on. Okay. So let's go through. Steve says, who else in here is smashing the $3 drafts? My man, we will get more $3 drafts going on the live stream. This is a $25 draft here. I want to max out Best Ball Mania, though. You can have 250 of these drafts. I mean, you can have 150, and I want to have all 150 done and drafted. Okay, so we have DJ Moore at the 403. George Kittle at the 404. Okay, so we are not going to be coming away with one of those elite level tight ends. Kittle actually goes a little bit earlier than his ADP. I want to say George Kittle usually goes here around the end of the 4th round. It is what it is. I wasn't really dying to take one of these tight ends. What I do look for, though, is I don't necessarily think it works that well, But sometimes you will see a team that goes out there and they try to push the board. They take Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. They take Travis Kelce and Kyle Pitts. Usually it's more Mark Andrews and Kyle Pitts on the same team. But they will get 2 tight ends early. And if I see that happen, then all of a sudden in a draft this morning, I got excited when we have George Kittle fall to us at the end of the 4th because there was an outside chance. It ended up not happening. Like I said, I think teams that do try to grab those 2 tight ends early, the majority of the time, they kind of just ruin their own upside and they don't affect the board that much. But I was a little worried that teams were going to then start scooping up tight ends earlier because one team monopolized 2 of the best options. It ended up not happening, and we are about to be on the clock with no wide receivers available to us. Okay, so let's think through this. We know for a damn fact that JN is taking Justin Herbert with one of these picks. So if he's going with Justin Herbert, I honestly think I can't do anything. I have to take running back here. We have to go Ezekiel Elliott. Like, I'm never going to be the guy drafting Courtland Sutton. That's not me. And these other wide receivers in this range, maybe we quote unquote reach on Allen Robinson, then get Matthew Stafford later and complete the double stack. I don't like this. It is what it is. If you saw my teams I drafted this morning, you would be screaming at me saying, Mason, how are you ignoring running back? How are you ignoring running back? But at the end of the day, when we are getting this value falling to us, we're going to take Zeke and Breece Hall here at the 4-5 turn. Let's go through, lock it in. We have Cooper Kupp a wide receiver. We have Kupp and AJ Brown a wide receiver, so I don't think we are completely behind the 8 ball. So if we would have started with McCaffrey instead, then I possibly would have reached on one of those wide receivers over a Breece Hall in the 5th round. Possibly I would have taken someone like Gabriel Davis. However, whenever we do have Cooper Kupp and AJ Brown, I'm more confident in saying the running back's the best available player. It's not close. We're going to go Breece Hall here. We're going to get those guaranteed touches. And also, if we go with a couple of these running backs early, we will also have the added bonus that we are able to stop drafting at 5 of them. Now we are not going to be drafting 6 running backs. So we have a bump up with our overall build in terms of how many wide receivers we can roster. And we also have to keep in mind, now we're probably going to have to draft 3 tight ends because we did not get one of those elite options. So drafting another running back here isn't the worst thing in the world. We got J.K. Dobbins earlier today at the very end of not earlier today. I think that was actually yesterday. We got J.K. Dobbins at the 5'11". Okay, so Orion says Breece Hall is a 2nd rounder. WTF. I'll tell you right now, on Underdog Fantasy, Breece Hall goes in the 5th round in almost every single one of these drafts. In almost every single one. I've seen Breece Hall fall here behind guys like Sutton, behind Gabriel Davis, behind Allen Robinson, behind Montgomery, behind J.K. Dobbins. If you think that Breece Hall should be going in the 2nd round here, I got money on the line for you. All you got to do is go sign up for Underdog Fantasy with a link in the description. Use promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. A, you'll become a rich man that way. And B, possibly, not saying this is going to happen, but if you really think that Breece Hall should be going in the 2nd round, hell, go draft him in half your leagues and let's see how that works out. Okay, so Michael Thomas at the 5'11", Rashad Bateman at the 5'12". No interesting builds so far. It looks like the majority of these teams have a balanced approach. Interesting to go Lamar Jackson here. At wide receiver, you have Godwin, T. Higgins, Derrick Henry, Javonte Williams at running back. Rashad Bateman goes to the 5'12". C. Lala says, I love number 5's team. Okay, so number 5 started off with Justin Jefferson, then goes Aaron Jones in the 2nd, Saquon Barkley in the 3rd, Jerry Jeudy, and Courtland Sutton. So obviously they're going to be going after Russell Wilson a little bit later. I am personally just not a Courtland Sutton fanboy. I do like Jerry Jeudy, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I could take Jerry Jeudy over the wide receiver 1 in Tampa on a targets per game perspective. Please let me put that out because I know everybody's going to hate me. On a targets per game perspective, that's Chris Godwin and also the wide receiver 1 for Deshaun Watson. So I probably lean with those 2 receivers over Jerry Jeudy. I will say once you get Jeudy in the 4th, if I was ever in a million years going to draft Courtland Sutton, it would be on a team where we got Jerry Jeudy, and then I'd be going for the double stack with Russell Wilson. Okay, so Josh Jacobs goes at the 602. Selfishly, we love to see it. We love to see running backs going off the board. Darnell Mooney goes to the 603. Now, what is interesting is really the only running backs that we would consider drafting if they make it back to us, because Antonio Gibson has a 0% chance to make it back. The only running backs we would consider drafting would be Elijah Mitchell and A.J. Dillon. But we'll see. Maybe Antonio. I'm telling you right now, if Antonio Gibson makes it back, we're taking him as our running back 4, then we're done drafting RBs. I will be on record saying that. But I doubt it happens. I'd be very, very surprised, even though almost all these teams have 2 running backs. So Elijah Mitchell goes to the 606. Elijah Mitchell before Antonio Gibson, I don't know if I've seen that before in a draft this season. Okay, so Mikey on the clock, 2 wide receivers, the elite quarterback, 2 running backs as well. Jalen Hurts going at the 605 does hurt. I would really like to get Jalen Hurts with this team just because we have A.J. Brown, and also we would have only had to draft 2 quarterbacks if we would have gone through and grabbed Jalen Hurts. Okay, I guess they're going to, maybe they make us do it. Okay. So Ryan Pitts goes Elijah Moore. Ahmad Ross, we are 1 pick away. Antonio Gibson goes. Okay, so we don't have to. We don't have to. And here, it's interesting. It's an interesting question on should you go with Devontae Smith. I am actually going to take Smith. I don't love the fact that we have A.J. Brown, no Jalen Hurts on this team. But I've been drafting DeAndre Hopkins here a ton. The issue is I'm drafting DeAndre Hopkins on teams where I'm drafting him as my wide receiver 4, my wide receiver 5, and that's not the roster construction that we have here. We are drafting a wide receiver 3, and if we were going to miss out on 6 weeks of that production from our wide receiver, it's going to be a lot harder to overcome. Now, on the clock again, I think we are going to go and reach. It sucks. Yes, I don't like it. A.J. Dillon is the best value here. We don't have any of the stacks with the quarterbacks, so we're probably going to go ahead and just take Adam Thielen. We're going to take Adam Thielen. I know some people are not going to like it, but I'm telling you right now, the players that are going to be available to us a little later on, you are going to be happy that you went receiver compared to running back. Adam Thielen does have touchdown upside. We've seen him sustain a touchdown rate significantly higher than league average. Not sexy picks. Trust me, I would have preferred having a couple different players fall to us. In the majority of my drafts, I am taking DeAndre Hopkins over Devontae Smith. I think that if we're going to use it as a tiebreaker on when we should take Smith, however, it should probably be whenever they're going to be our wide receiver 3 and not our wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, because it's going to be a lot harder for us to try to catch up on the DeAndre Hopkins production. Okay, so Sky Moore, Tyler Lockett go at the 703, 704. Okay, so you see those wide receivers continue to go off. Russell Wilson finds his way to this team. Who took Jamar Chase? Okay, so Mikey just passed on Jamar Chase. I'm sorry, just passed on Joe Burrow when he has Jamar Chase at pick 78, about 12 picks behind his ADP. Okay, I'm assuming Mikey is regretting his selection of Patrick Mahomes in the 4th round. Just because if you're looking at this, would you rather have the combination on a team that drafted Jamar Chase? Would you rather have Mahomes and Hunter Renfrow or Chris Godwin and Joe Burrow? I personally would prefer Godwin and Burrow, not close. I'd prefer Amari Cooper and Burrow, not close. Crazy to see him pass on Burrow there. Miles Sanders goes to the 708. Brandon Ayuk at the 709. Eric coming out says, I feel like I've been stealing from you, watching all your content and only using Flock and Underdog. So I appreciate you. Thank you, my man, for supporting the channel. I genuinely appreciate it. And I hope y'all been having fun. I've had a ton of people, a part of the Flock community, reaching out, telling me how much they're having fun in these drafts. And I will say I'm having too much fun. I need to save my money until we get closer to the end of the season, end of the off season. But it is what it is. Sometimes you need to do something. You need to have something in your day to look forward to. And that's what Underdog Fantasy is for us. That's what these drafts are for us. Just something to look forward to. I'll be sitting there at 1 p.m. going, oh my God, I really don't want to write anymore. I'm tired of writing. I'm done with this. Let me hop in a draft on my phone. Then I have to snap myself out of it. Have to give myself a quick hit saying, no, stop. You can live stream later. We can get in a draft later. Okay. So Chris Olave goes at the 7-11. Okay. Look at that draft board. A whole lot of green at the top. A whole lot of green at the top according to ADP. Interesting. If you're picking here and you're Charlie Brown, I would imagine they're very excited. Are they on auto? So they just auto A.J. Dillon. Have they been auto on the entire draft? No. They take Mark Andrews ahead of ADP. They go through. They take CeeDee Lamb ahead of ADP, Hollywood Brown ahead of ADP, Rashad Bateman ahead of yeah, this team's not on auto. Unless maybe they just stepped away from their computer. And I will say, one of the reasons I'm not too mad at myself for drafting so many of these teams in the morning is in every single draft in the morning I've done over the past 3 days, there have been teams auto drafting. And think about it. Underdog pays me when y'all sign up. That's how you support the channel. And they pay you when you sign up with the deposit bonus. So how Underdog makes money is they take 10% of every league pot. That's the rake. And that's a very low rake if you're going to be completely honest. So whenever you see a team auto drafting, that allows value to fall to you later on. A lot of those teams end up with 4 quarterbacks and like 2 or 3 wide receivers and have absolutely no chance to do anything. So they pay the rake and you get a better team overall. So I've been drafting a lot of those. We're just making sure we're getting in lobbies that have people in auto, and it's pretty fun. Zachary says, can you test the one with socials after this draft? Yes, sir. Thank you. Of course, Zachary. I do appreciate it. I probably am going to have to go eat with my grandpa. We'll see how fast this gets through, though. Okay, so we have Dallas Goedert going at the 805. We are 5 picks away. I don't even know what we're rooting for because, yeah, we could use some more wide receiver help. We have 3 top-tier running backs in this team with Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, and Breece Hall. But there's a lot of running back value on the board. Like, I'm fine with whatever falls to us. I feel like we can make it work. Christian Kirk, Damian Harris. Damian Harris has been someone I'm actually drafting this year, as much as I hate to say it. Like, just because I've been getting him in the 9th a lot, and we've been constructing our teams heavily around wide receiver. Here we went a little more light on receiver than I'm used to. But the majority of these teams, we're going receiver. Okay. So JN has, I love JN's build. JN, I'm not joking when I say this. This is probably the best team I've ever seen you draft. Or one of the best teams I've ever seen you draft. Who did you take Juju over? You took Juju Smith-Schuster over, maybe that's, I probably prefer Breece Hall over Juju. Like, then you can go Garrett Wilson here. But it's interesting. Who do we want? Yeah, I'll throw Jane a bone. Hell, he can have Kareem Hunt. With Hunt, yes, it would be exciting to bring him in on this team. I think he's a good value. But we do have Nick Chubb. We have 3 running backs. Jayan killed this draft, though. Spack says, I'm ready to draft. Let me in. My man, we have been drafting so many of these teams. You have to get in one of these. Okay, so Kareem Hunt at the 812. So Garrett Wilson's our wide receiver 5. I guess we're double dipping our toes into the New York Jets water. I don't like it. I don't think Zach Wilson is good, but I think these 2 players are phenomenal. And I think we got them at good prices as well. Now we're going to go ahead and take Matthew Stafford. I would have taken Matthew Stafford over Garrett Wilson, but I assume Jayan wanted to go with the wide receiver and he had Justin Herbert, so it would have been hard for him to go through and take Stafford here. So we are going to get Stafford. We're stacking him with Cooper Kupp. We are getting Matthew Stafford as well, 8 picks behind his ADP. So that's how you allow stacks to fall to you. We're not reaching on our stacks. We are 100% being aware of them and going out and targeting them, but please don't reach around for your stacks because then you're really leaking upside. And you have to think about the tournament at the very end of the season where you know that, hell, there are going to be a lot of Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford combinations in there. And if you're the guy drafting Matthew Stafford in the 7th just to make sure you get him, hell, you're going to be behind the 8 ball compared to some of the other combinations that got Matthew Stafford in the 9th instead. Okay, so Rodgers goes at the 905, Gallup, Dawson Knox. Yeah, we need tight ends making it to us, but the thing is, at this point of the draft, we're drafting 3 tight ends regardless. And real quick, one thing that I need to thank everybody for, truly thank y'all for, is the immense amount of support y'all been showing this channel. Like, if you look at our average likes on our live streams, our average likes on our videos, compared to anybody else that does fantasy football stuff, y'all, I don't know why, probably because I beg for it so much, but y'all crush that like button. And I do appreciate it. I truly do. But now we have a little bit of a wide receiver run happening. I'm fine with wide receivers going off the board. If we just go through and if we show off this draft board, I mean, we have Smith, Adam Thielen, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown. So we have 5 capable receivers. Usually our wide receivers are a little bit better, but usually my running backs are a lot worse in these drafts. So it's a little bit of positive, a little bit of negative. Okay, so Spack says, I'm back. Spack out. You're ready to draft him some J.K. Dobbins. The J.K. Dobbins Revenge Tour and the A.J. Dillon Revenge Tour. Okay. So Chase Edmonds here at the 9-10. Derek Carr, Trey Lance. I don't even know who's best available according to ADP here. You got some running backs at the very top with a combination of Singletary and James Cook. The players that we're probably going to be looking at in about 11 picks. I wonder if, okay, Claypool goes here. I guess maybe we don't get this tier of wide receivers making it to us, but it's fine. I mean, we could get Zach Ertz. The tier tight ends here is completely fine to go after. I think once you get to this range of the draft, you just have so many options. Like, I don't even really care what these people above us do. Okay, Rondale Moore at the 10:01. Zach Ertz at the 10:02. Tyler Boyd at the 10:03. Okay, so it looks like we are not getting that tight end. Hell, doesn't matter. We're going to have to draft 3. Tyler Boyd is a player that I need to get more of. I think if you look at Tyler Boyd, he is almost being drafted at his floor. Yes. He's going to be dominated in targets by T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But this is one of the very rare offenses that simply doesn't use a fourth receiver, doesn't use a fifth. They don't circulate those guys near the bottom end. It is legitimately Tyler Boyd, Chase, and Higgins seeing every single snap. And Tyler Boyd in that environment is a wide receiver 4 in fantasy, which is where he's being drafted. But think about what happens if Chase goes down, if Higgins goes down, and this remains to be a top 10 passing offense in the NFL. We saw Tyler Boyd before finish with a top 24 wide receiver season with worse quarterback play. I love the Tyler Boyd selection. I don't have them in nearly enough drafts. It's something I need to work on fixing. Okay, so now let's scroll this up. I have a ton of players available to us. You know, we said we were only going to draft 5 running backs. Maybe we go with 2 here. James Cook goes at the 10:08. The thing is, trust me, I would love to bring in wide receivers, but we have 5 of them, so we're not dying for receivers. And the running back value is just the way to go at this moment. Watson goes to the 10:10. Should we just bring in an RB? Kenny Golladay feels like a stretch to have. We're going to step out of our comfort zone. We're going to go a little running back heavy here. We're going to go Rashad Penny. Bring him in as our running back 4. Pick 119. Earlier when Best Ball Mania launched, Rashad Penny was going over Kenneth Walker. It was laughable. It was, of course, laughable. Now it seems to be corrected. Rashad Penny's going 2 to 3 rounds after Walker consistently. Now looking at the running backs, like the thing is, here's where we're going to be picking again. Look at this range. Jameson Crowder, Jahan Dotson at wide receiver. At tight end, Albert O, Irv Smith Jr., Cole Kmet, Hunter. Like, the running back drop-off is real. It will happen. We're going to take our 5th RB. Whereas I think the difference between a Gesicki and a Cole Kmet, really non-existent for me. I think the value here is running back. We don't even know if Carter's going to make it back. We don't know if Isaiah Spiller's going to make it back. It is what it is. It's ugly. Very, very ugly. I do not want to have 5 running backs. I do not want to invest in the running back position this much, but that's how the tiers broke. That's where the value fell in this draft. I think we kind of have to maybe zig when others zag. If people are going to be drafting running backs early, hell, we'll go wide receivers early and we will make a unique roster. People are going wide receiver early, we'll go running back early, try to make a unique roster that way. The issue is, so we draft 5 running backs. We're going to need 3 tight ends, possibly 2 quarterbacks. So you go through and you do some simple math. We're only going to have 8 slots for the wide receiver position if we only draft 2 quarterbacks. But there is an outside chance we have to draft 3. And we just hit 100 likes in the live stream. Thank you so much, everybody going down there and dropping a like in the stream. We hit 100 likes on pretty much every live stream at this point. Okay. So Simon says, I would have taken Ramondre over Penny. I have, like, if I pull up my ownership percentages right now, you'll see I have about 25% of my drafts with Ramondre Stevenson. Now, it's not because I'm in love with Ramondre Stevenson. It's more so I'm just drafting running backs in this range all the time, because I think the running back values in guys like Rashad White, Ramondre Stevenson, Dameon Pierce, Alexander Madison are more appealing than the Tim Patrick and McCole Hardman players of the world. But we have a lot more Ramondre Stevenson than Rashad Penny, and with Rashad Penny has a higher ADP, so we're just going to break it in favor of Penny. Ronald Jones goes to the 112. We have some quarterbacks off the board as well with Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Fields. Jacoby Myers at the 1201. I don't even know what we're rooting for. We are rooting for running backs off the board. I know that. I don't know if we want quarterback, tight end, or receiver making it back, though. Right now, so if you look at best available, we are currently 9 picks away. Kirk Cousins goes here. Robert Tonyan at the 1203. Debo on the clock. Lance at quarterback with the Kittle stack. He gets Lance behind his ADP. He gets the stack of Tua and Jalen Waddle. He goes Isaiah Spiller. I really like that team. I think it's a fantastic build. I mean, getting Isaiah Spiller, getting Michael Carter. If Michael Carter makes it to us at pick 143, I have to admit I was wrong. I was an idiot. I made a massive mistake. Yes. If Michael Carter makes it to us, pick 143, I made a massive mistake. There would have been no reason whatsoever we should have drafted both Rashad Penny and Dameon Pierce if that happens. Irv Smith Jr. goes to the 1207. Oh, I'm worried, boys. I am worried. I think we botched it. We've been on a roll. We've been ice hot as of late. So we botched it, and I think we did. Because we can't take Michael Carter. Like, trust me, I would love to, but we can't. See what Chimichanga does. He goes Jamison Crowder. Yeah, it sucks. It really does. But we have no option. Carter, both of those running backs are great values. When you draft 5 as early as we did, we got caught with our pants down. It is what it is. We'll go with Hunter Henry. We'll grab this tight end. Hopefully he has some touchdown upside. Not too excited about it. JN laughing at us. Goes through, takes Michael Carter right after. Yeah, JN has a significantly better team than we do. JN, I will give you your props. Props deserved. Killed the draft. He goes David Njoku as well. So yeah, we're going to go George Pickens as our wide receiver 6. With Pickens, he is going to be on a team that has another rookie in Garrett Wilson. We have a couple of veterans in Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith to hopefully give us production at the beginning part of the season. But, God, I'm jealous of your draft, JN. Let's go through and show this off if you are just now coming in here. Let me hide my screen. So we were drafting at the 102. We have Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown with our first 2 picks, Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, Breece Hall following it up, and then Devonta Smith, Adam Thielen, Garrett Wilson, and we are acknowledging, yeah, there were some pretty interesting options at the tight end position, at the wide receiver position. At the running back position in this range. Now, the issue was we just knew that wide receiver was getting soaked up. So while, yes, the Adam Thielen, the Devonta Smith pick, they're not sexy. They're not sexy picks at all. We have to go through. We have to make them. We have no other option but to go wide receiver in this range. So we go with the 3 wide receivers. We get Stafford here about 10 picks behind his ADP to pair up with Cooper Kupp. Then we have Rashad Penny, Dameon Pierce. This is where we made the mistake. Because if instead of going Dameon Pierce here, we would have been able to just draft Mike Gesicki. If you look at the running back that we had making it to us, Michael Carter coming back around, even though we had Breece Hall, I would have been fine drafting both if you're looking at that value. So we should have just gone through. We should have ignored Dameon Pierce, stopped drafting after Rashad Penny, the running back position, even if it was the best value on the board. The tight end run happened earlier than we thought. We got Hunter Henry, but now we are in a crappy situation at tight end, even if we are going to go through and draft 3. Fizz coming out with the donation says, can I give you a kiss, Mason? Thank you, my man, for supporting the channel. Thank you. Okay, so Van Jefferson, KJ Osborne. Eric says, do you avoid drafting handcuff running backs in best ball? Okay, so I've talked about this a couple times before. If you are in your regular 12-team fantasy football league, I think it's a very bad idea to be drafting handcuff running backs. You're wasting a bench spot. There's so many different reasons. Now, in a large field tournament like this, there's some merit in drafting handcuffs. And I'm not targeting them but I'm not going to be getting mad at people for drafting them when they fall at value. And the reason for this is, say we need to get first or second in this 12-team league to advance to that tournament style during the fantasy football playoffs. And we drafted Breece Hall in the 5th. But Breece Hall has a high ankle sprain, week 3. And then Breece Hall misses 8 weeks of the season. Well, what's going to end up happening is you are going to have those teams that drafted Breece Hall as one of their cornerstone running backs. They are going to get knocked out. They are not going to get first or second in their 12-team league. So if you look at the overall player pool in that large field DFS style tournament at the very end of the season, you are going to have some teams with Breece Hall, yes, if they got lucky, but the exposure rate of Breece Hall in that field will be tiny. And if you were able to survive, if you were able to get first or second in this 12-team league to get to that tournament setting at the end by, say, drafting Michael Carter and Breece Hall makes it back for the tournament, then you may have one of the very rare players that is actually having an elite ceiling, yet not being owned very often. So it does make some sense, even though we're not targeting it. But it does make some sense. Fizz says, do you prefer Cam Akers or Antonio Gibson and die? I hate that question. I probably would prefer Cam Akers based on the moves that we've seen from Washington this offseason, but I would not fight anybody if they want Antonio Gibson. Okay, so now Jimmy Chonga on the clock. They go Will Fuller. I don't want to do it to you, JN. I don't. I really don't. I apologize. I can't draft the tight end here in this range. I'm sorry. There are no tight ends for me available. We're going to go Joshua Palmer. I know you wanted him. I'm sorry. We got to get a wide receiver here. We have to get a wide receiver. Running backs are great values. I can't draft a running back. I can't. We'll go Palmer at the 14-11. JN had Justin Herbert. He had Mike Williams. He had Keenan Allen. I'm sorry, my man. I know. Okay, so let's see what he does at the turn. Waiting patiently. He goes Curtis Samuel as a 7th receiver. God, he's killing this draft. Adam says, would you be less interested in drafting handcuffs in the non-tournament best ball leagues? Yes, I'd be a lot less interested in the non-tournament leagues. And we are going to go through. We're going to draft Zach Wilson. I'm not a big Zach Wilson fan by any means. I think he's probably a bad real-life NFL quarterback. But we took Breece Hall here. And more importantly, we took Garrett Wilson. So we're already betting on the New York Jets offense. If this team's going to be good, if this team's going to have a chance to win a lot of money at the end of the season, Zach Wilson has to be decent. And we're getting Zach Wilson 15 picks behind his ADP. So yeah, we're just going to allow those stacks to continue to fall to us. I think we can draft the third. We probably need to draft a third quarterback. The issue with this team is we need 3 tight ends. So I guess we could end our draft with 1 more quarterback and 2 more tight ends. But the issue is if you go through and if you look at our wide receiver position, our wide receiver position is not that deep. And in a best ball format, it needs to be. Wide receiver 1, Cooper Kupp. Wide receiver 2, A.J. Brown. Wide receiver 3, Devontae Smith, Adam Thielen, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, Joshua Palmer. It's very hard to get away with drafting 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends if you're going to have access to a ceiling. Yes, it may actually raise your floor just a little bit through the course of the regular season, but when you get to that tournament style at the very end of the year, it's very tough. If we're at 7 wide receivers, I can't do math. I think we're at 7 wide receivers. We may just have to call it a draft. It sucks, and we may have to draft 3 QBs and 3 tight ends. Let's see what value makes it. Thomas says, thought you said you only wanted to stack a max of 3 from the same team. I personally do, but I think JN probably would have gone Joshua Palmer there. Billy Moss says, has anyone ever told you how much you look like Mark Hamill? No idea. And GA says, those 2 quarterbacks are fine. Let me know what y'all think. Do you think I should be drafting a third quarterback here? The issue is, does Stafford have access to those spike weeks? Maybe I just need to really look at Zach Wilson as an option, saying, hell, if this team's any good at all, Zach Wilson has to be serviceable. Zach Wilson has to be a low-end quarterback 1, high-end quarterback 2. which I personally don't think he is, but we're talking through a range of outcomes here, which it is possible. It is possible. Okay, so Herbert, Darrell Williams go with the 15-16 turn. Like seeing those running backs drafted. I don't really care if wide receivers go off the board here. I mean, it is what it is. Tannehill goes to the 1603. Looking at the best available players, you are currently looking at some running backs at the very top, a couple quarterbacks, a couple tight ends, one receiver with Sammy Watkins. I've been avoiding Sammy Watkins. My thought process with Watkins is I may just be a sideline supporter. I may say, hey, Sammy Watkins, I want to root for you, my dude, but I'm probably going to start drafting you once we get closer to the season, once I know that you have that guaranteed contract. Now, what I will say is Sammy Watkins very rarely makes it this far. He has an ADP of 173. We're about to close in on pick 190. Al says, when you start a new draft, do you send a link or do we have to join a Best Ball Mania and hope we get in? So right now we're doing these Best Ball Mania drafts. I promise you we're probably going to do 100 private drafts as well this season. So I will clarify if it's going to be a private draft and we'll send that in the live chat or if it's going to be a Best Ball Mania league. That will be 100% specified though. Evan Ingram goes Chimichanga on the clock. I'm assuming they go running back. They only have 3. Let's see what Chimichanga does. He goes JD McKissick. He's a very interesting team as well. He took Gabriel Davis and Dawson Knox, the double stack there. We have to take Taysom Hill. Can't really think about it too much. We need to take 3 tight ends total in this draft. I think we could get away. We could potentially get away with only drafting 2 quarterbacks, but we cannot get away with only drafting 2 tight ends. When we wait to Hunter Henry, when we wait to Taysom Hill, we need to get a little bit of a platoon coming in. We need a committee of these guys, hopefully providing us access to any kind of spike weeks. Okay, so JN goes with some Texas picks, going Devin Duvernay, going Donta Foreman. You know he's going to go with some Texas players. It is what it is. Austin Hooper should see snaps. They don't really have a third option in the passing game. The third option, we talked about this in the live stream yesterday, is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. I think this is my first time drafting Austin Hooper. We're just going to hope that between the combination of Hunter Henry, Taysom Hill, and Austin Hooper, we can get a serviceable week out of those 3 guys. Keep in mind, we don't have to choose which one's going to score the touchdown. That's why we need to draft 3 of them. Okay, so Keontae Ingram goes to the 1703. So you get a little bit of run of a former University of Texas players. Yes, Keontae Ingram started at the University of Texas, did transfer over to USC. Good for us to see those running backs going. I think this is I think this is a fine team. I just am very confident with our drafting ability. Maybe my expectations are too high now when we come into drafts. So I'm not in love with this one. If we go through, if we look at what we could have changed in this draft, I think Kupp was the right call. A.J. Brown was the right call. Nick Chubb was as well. I honestly think these two, I'm not taking Juju Smith-Schuster over Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not taking Gabriel Davis over Breece Hall. I think the running backs in that range were the correct picks as well. Smith, Adam Thielen, Garrett Wilson, not changing anything there. Stafford, not changing. I think maybe where we need to go back and fix something is take a tight end here instead of Dameon Pierce. Especially when we go 3 running backs early and we have an elite running back room already, there is no reason at all to be drafting our 5th running back as early as we did. Even if he was the best player according to ADP, even if he was the best value on the board, based on how it absolutely ruined our tight end position, would I rather have the combination of Austin Hooper and Dameon Pierce, or would I rather have the combination of Raheem Mostert or even Brian Robinson and Mike Gesicki? I prefer Brian Robinson and Mike Gesicki. That Dameon Pierce, and this is what's funny. This is why you need to practice drafting. This is why you need to get your reps in. Because one bad pick like that in the 11th round, I think our draft was good up until that 11th round selection. And then we make that pick in the 11th and we mess everything up. Okay, so, and real quick, of course, if you want to go get in a draft with us, if you want to have some fun, make sure you go sign up to Underdog Fantasy, promo code FLOCK. Find the link in the live chat, find it in the description, get a 100% deposit match with promo code FLOCK. Have some fun, get into drafts with us in the live stream with your friends, get our 2022 rankings when you sign up literally with the $10 deposit, and you get 130 pages of information just about this year's rookie class alone. Have some fun with your life. Come on. Okay, so Justin Ross at the 1806. Let's move this down. Okay. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, are we going 3rd QB or are we going wide receiver? There's no way Brian Edwards, Byron Pringle, Isaiah McKenzie provide more points to this lineup through the first. Maybe it lowers our ceiling at the very end. It is what it is. We're going to take Carson Wentz here. Maybe we can tell ourselves a story. Hell, Matthew Stafford goes down for 10 weeks. Once we get there, nobody else is going to have Stafford. Maybe we could try to tell ourselves that story. Very gross, though. But of course, thank you so much for being a part of the flock and supporting the channel. We will get another draft going tomorrow. I promise you that. You know, we've been doing these every single day, so make sure you go sign up for Underdog Fantasy so you can hop into a draft with us. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day. I wish I could get another draft, but I have to go eat dinner with my grandpa. So I'm sorry, but I have to leave you for now. Thank you again. I do appreciate all.